Hello, my name is Brett Jones, and I'm the Percussion Ensemble Director for the DSSYO, and I want to thank you for doing this audition, and I hope you have fun putting together some of the material. I've made it and kind of put together things that are fairly challenging, just so we get a sense of how you play, but also to give you something to work toward. So I wanted to take a moment and just look through the snare drum audition piece. If you notice, it kind of set up into about 3 different parts, and what I'd like to do right now is I'll play through the whole thing for you, but then we'll look into each part and I'll help as far as counting and transition from one part to the next. Okay, so let me just play it for you first. Oh, by the way, given the issue with COVID and not having access to school instruments and different things, I know we all might be in different situations, so if you need to perform this on a practice pad or tabletop or anything, you're more than welcome to do that. I brought some instruments to my home, but most of my instruments are at UWS where I teach. So all I have right now is a practice pad that I brought home. So I don't even have access to a snare drum right now. So I'll do my best here on the practice pad. But this will be fine because it still tells us what we need to know as far as timing and playing. Okay, so here's the audition excerpt all the way through. Okay, so there's the whole piece all the way through, and a few things you might notice. One is there's a whole lot of rolls in here, and rolls can be kind of challenging, but also fun to play. So the piece starts off with a very soft dynamic and just 16 notes to kind of get you going. But then after that, you need to play rolls. Now there's 2 main types of rolls that we can play: double stroke rolls and multiple bounce rolls or buzz rolls. So if I were to play this as a double stroke roll in the second bar, it's this. But in this situation, you really want to play with a buzz roll, okay? So make sure you keep counting through that 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 and a 2 E and 3 E and a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1. So that bar right there, bar 13, we're rolling all the way through to beat 2, restart a roll on the end of 2, and hit on the end of 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 1 E and 2 and a 3. Okay, and bar 15 starts off on with a rest on the downbeat, so be ready to play on the E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 and a 1, 2 E and a 3, 1 and 2 and. Okay, now we start a new section, and this is the 2/4 section. So before we were playing in 3 and counting in 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1. Now we're into 2, but the pulse stays the exact same. 1 E and a 2 E and 1, 2 E and a 1, 2, 1 E and 2 and a 1, 2, 1 and a 2 E and a 1, 2, 1 E and 2, 1, 2 E and a 1 and 2 and a 1, 2, 1 E and 2 and a. Okay, now there's an interesting thing. It has a 4 with a bunch of slashes. That is a 4-bar repeat. So that means go back to bar 13 and play those 4 bars one more time. Okay, so we're going to do that again. 1, 2 E and a 1, 2 and a 1, 2, 1 E and 2 and a. Now we jump right to bar 21, double forte, so very loud. 1 and 2, 1 E and 2 and 1, 2 and 1 and 2 and a 1, 2, 1 E, 2. Okay, Now it goes right into 7/8. It says the eighth note equals the eighth note. So when you transition from 2/4 or 3/4 or 4/4 or anything like that into 6/8 or 7/8, if it says eighth note equals eighth note, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and there's the eighth note in the 2/4, and that becomes what we count as the 7 in the 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7. Okay, so that pulse stays the same. I'll help you with the transition here. This is 2 bars before the 7/8. We have 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and 1 and 2. Sorry, I'll count it differently. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and those are drags there in the third bar of the 7/8. Play with one stick, let it bounce, just like a flam, but with a bounce in the stick that would have the grace note. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7, 1 and 2. Okay, and then that sign right there in bar 6 is a repeat sign, so we play bar 5 one more time. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then we're ready for bar 7. 1 and a 2 and a 3. Sorry. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 1 and 2 and 3, 5 and 6 and 7, 1. Okay, and then we have all these 16 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and then we have what's called a 2-bar repeat. Go back to bar 10 and play those 2 bars again. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. And that's how the piece ends. So I would recommend just taking a little bit at a time as you're working on this. Even if it's only 2 measures, play those over and over until you get comfortable. Also, notice that I was counting a lot. Counting is really important for percussionists and when you're playing snare drum music as well. If after working on this for quite a while you're still having, still struggling, I would invite you to submit what you can. Do your best on it, and this is kind of a pinnacle piece, a difficult high school piece. So if you're not quite up to the level to be able to really play it perfectly, that's okay, because the reason you should join DSSYO is because it's going to make you a better player, and we're going to be working on this stuff hand in hand. So I look forward to working with you. Happy practicing.